Good morning.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Krista, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just getting everything set up here on the other channels
I'm
here.
just proud of myself for it being this seamless that I logged in. That's what I'm happy about.
I try to make it a seamless experience,
It
but
was great.
sometimes it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. And for some reason, naturally, Instagram's not cooperating. Seems to be the thing.
Well, you're the social media queen, not I. I'm gonna light
Now,
my
well, I'm doing StreamYard. You've used StreamYard before, haven't you?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. I learn a lot from you.
All right. Well, we are live and rolling.
Oh, well, hi. Sorry. I was like Vincent. Hi.
So, good morning, everybody in TikTok world. You'll see where you can see my guest. I have a little banner up, and it looks like Instagram is not going to cooperate today. I am not shocked.
Does that happen often?
Yes, it does. It really does. I don't know why, but it just does.
I'm sorry I wasn't seated when the live started. It's because I was lighting my incense. So I'm going to put
You
it
got to
where
clear that energy. That's okay. It takes a little bit. Hi, good morning, Regina. It takes a little bit for people to get in and get settled in.
So there we go. It's all good now. I loved it. I had so many aha moments. Looking forward to chatting with you. And anyway, sorry.
I was just kind of going down that rabbit hole of, wow, we've known each other a really long time.
Yes. Yes.
I'm trying to think of how old our kids were.
They were, I think, so mine are now 27 and 30. And I think my oldest might have just started high school, maybe.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, because my like the two younger ones were Madison and Aiden were younger, like playing toys.
Like little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like school age. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think that. And look how far we've come. Oh my gosh.
It's so great. And to see the evolution when people walk their talk,
Mm-hmm.
it's helping people remember their own soul is really what we both do in a different way.
In a different way, but similar.
Yes.
It's weird. Like it's very parallel.
Yeah.
Very parallel. Good morning, Lucas. Hey, and just so you know, buddy, Instagram's not cooperating this morning. So we will not be on Instagram. But he's what? My friend Lucas used to live next door, and he tunes in from Switzerland on Thursdays because he moved.
Wonderful. Hello, Lucas.
Yeah, and
thanks for joining.
Yeah. So, all right, well, we're going to talk about all kinds of things. And I asked ChatGPT to give me really good questions for you. They've sorted them out and everything.
Great.
It was great. I loved it. Well, okay. Well, so we're welcoming Krista Anderson. She is psychologist, creator of Emozen, soul coach. She does, oh my gosh, you do so many things all encompassed in one little ball. And I remember, again, we were talking about how I've known you for a very long time, because full disclosure, like you were our marital therapist, but it was, that's crazy. That was had to be 20. It was over 20 years ago. Yes. And then we did not have contact for so this, our connection
is 4 years. I didn't hear from you. The next time I heard from you, you were doing this wonderful thing. You were honoring your gift, right? That was the next time I heard from you. And I was so excited. I think I had done an Emozen workshop and you came to that. That was that. Yeah.
That was really cool. And you've actually put me in touch with some pretty fascinating people. I talk about Debbie Loshbaugh all the time because I'm telling you, you're the one that connected the two of us. And I work with her monthly.
That's great.
she clears my energy and she's like, oh girl, I'm like, I know. I get all the things. But when you do this work and you don't like energy clearing for myself, I'm getting there. It's not my thing. But yeah, you've put me in touch with some really amazing people, and we've exchanged services and all that. So I want to kind of jump into it. Good morning, whatever this place is, TikTok world. Oh, I'm like, what am I on right now? Bertrand, do not disturb. So I want to hear, I mean, you've gone from, family counselor to here we are all these years later to you've got Emozen. And I did that workshop with you and you were like, I'm going to try a thing. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yes.
And that, to this day, that was such a profound experience for me with understanding chakras. And because we had done like a chakra meditation, and I was like, my chakras look like rocks. Is that a problem?
I forgot about that.
And you were like, it might be.
Let's explore this a little.
What's crazy is I now use that in meditations when I do my classes. We'll check in on our chakras, and I combine that with a meditation that I learned from John Edward about going up an elevator. And then along the way, I'll be like, I want you to go find the rock in the middle of the parking garage. And we're going to go shine that rock up. We're going to tumble up. We're going to make it nice and clean. And we do that chakra clearing all the way up to the crown. And then we get to work. So it's a really cool. So yeah, you have impacted me in so many ways on personal and professional. So I couldn't wait. And you've supported my journey from day one.
Well, that is such a beautiful testimony of what Emozen is, Lorenda. And it's like, and that's what you do as well. What I was talking about earlier, when you stand in your own aligned center, if you will, people use words like a sovereign authenticity. Whatever your aligned center is for you. You meet people in that same frequency. And I'm wanting to speak to like neurological scientific fact here, right?
Yes.
That's why certain people feel good to be around, because you've heightened your awareness. So you're in line. So your body then produces a preponderance of the happy hormones. And that's what people can literally smell you. Like your pheromones make people feel good. Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Unless I'm grouchy, then they don't feel good.
Well, what I'm saying is, people talk about, depression and mental health issues aren't contagious, and they're not in that sense. But if you're around people and you see that they're not trying to get better, it is contagious.
It is. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you said that. It really is. Like energy flows through us. And I think, again, years ago, you and I talked about, this was before I was really fully on. I was in the awakening phase, but before I was fully in my power as far as what I was going to work on. I remember saying, I can tell, as the mom and the wife, in my house, I'm the thermostat. Mm-hmm. If however I come out of my room in the morning, whether I like it or not, I started recognizing the powerful force that I am. And that can be very detrimental. That's not a brag necessarily. It's okay. But knowing I had that power to set the tone for my kids and even my husband and even my dog. If I came out of my room first thing in the morning and I was like, not it, just grouchy, they all had a bad day.
I love, that integration again. Emozen, it's short for emotional zen. And I'm not even trying to promote that or me, or because I'm pretty full right now. That's not my point. My point is talking about the energy that flows through all of us. And it came to me because I was in an authentic Native American sweat lodge. And it was such a Zen-like balancing experience. I walked out having said, oh my gosh, I found my emotional Zen in there. And it just started going, like I heard it in a rhythmic pattern in my brain. It started going, Emozen. That's a thing. That's what people do. So I trademarked it, and now I work under that and do workshops under that. But that's how spirit speaks. That's my whole point of that I had to mention that, because if people listen and follow their dream, like it manifests, it takes on an energy that is bigger than you are alone, and you see other people doing it, right? Which is like, so for instance, I followed my intuition, but I'm not a medium, and I certainly am not a trained one. Like I can feel the energy. So when I had that client that day, I was like, oh, she would so benefit from you.
That was so cool, by the way.
We began working together. And she still talks about some of the wisdom that you imparted from the other side. And it was very helpful.
Yeah. I love that. That was such a cool experience. So at what point in your journey as a therapist did you go? And I know you just told me how the process for the name came up, but was there a moment where you said, I have to do this? Or was it just truly just like a slow burn? Like, how'd that work for you?
The moment that I came out of that sweat lodge and I heard that, I was like, I've got to get home and do something with this. So I said, first off, let me trademark the name, which by the way, I did. And 2 months after I did that, there's a whole company in France called Emozen doing similar work. So I'm not saying they copied Emozen, but I'm saying maybe.
Maybe. Or maybe they just should have trademarked it first. I don't know.
Yes. Well, they're in France, so they can, right? They're not affected by my US trademark. But in any event, it was at that moment. And since then, it's kind of taken on a life of its own, because it came out of me addressing some of my own trauma. And so working while addressing one's own trauma is very difficult.
It is. Been there. Yes. Been there, done that. So then as you work,
hopefully answered the question. That is that moment that I knew.
Okay. I just want to cover all the bases.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, how would you say, yes, of course you're helping other people in this, but really, how did that, like what, I'm not sure the question, and it's not on my ChatGPT, but I know where I want to go with that. How did it fundamentally affect you? Like in the process of you stepping into that energy, talk me through what that looked like for you on that journey. How was that?
Isn't that interesting? So that's a great question. And thank you for it, by the way. What that's looked like for me is it's brought me more deeply into my own healing. And there's a saying in the field of being a behavioral health provider is that you can only take your clients as far as you've gone yourself. And so it is really crucial to be able to go as deeply as possible to understand what it feels like to open up, to spiritually break open, if you will. And it's like when you give birth to that part of yourself, it's really scary. So it's prompted me to address some of my deepest fears that I couldn't otherwise, And so I've gone home. I really believe that there's no true healing possible without at least understanding both sides, right? And we teach forgiveness totally wrong in this world, especially in this Western model of control and pathologizing normal reactions to very abnormal situations. It's normal to feel sad when your parents don't listen to you, right? It's normal to walk around and have panic attacks when a man or woman yells if your parents were dysregulated. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not pathological. That's a programming. And we have to give witness and space And we have to honor this spiritual healing of that. And I think what's happening and why I love what you do and you're present so much is that the world is shifting the way it heals. Like all of the astrologers, the mystics, the mediums, the spiritualists, the truly healed empaths. And that's a conversation we can have too. There's empaths and there's heal that might be hypervigilant due to trauma. And then there are empaths that are healed, which is maybe 1% to 2% of the population, which is not very common, right?
Right.
So
I wrote it down. We could go back to that.
Yeah, but I just say that's where the world's coming to, because we need people that are seers in whatever field that we're in that can speak that truth to life, right? We're like all of the books, that the dusty old books in our great grandparents' attic, you know?
Right. That's what I am. I'm a dusty old book.
But we're dusting it off and realizing, oh wow, this is 50, this is 57.
Yep. Well, and I can say I think as a Gen Xer, generationally, I think a lot of us came into, and knowing now what I know from past life regression, doing the hypnosis. Ooh, Gen X came in with a mission. I fully am starting to believe that we, as a generation, and same with the millennials and the Gen Zs and the alphas, like I see this interesting evolution where prior to the boomers and prior, I feel like tend to be a little more stuck cyclically, which would make sense, because if we're looking from an astrological point of view and the woo-woo part, it makes sense. It was part of it. But then my generation comes in, we're like, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
Yes.
I'm going to do what I want right now. And our parents gave us the space to do whatever we wanted to do right then. And so, but as I'm kind of breaking all this down, I'm starting to realize even, my own traumas that I had from my childhood translated to how I reacted and the emotions that I created. And I talk very openly about Jessica, my daughter, not speaking to us for it's been 6 years now, 6 years. And I fully accept it's because of that unhealed trauma. But you know what? Not all of us can necessarily be healed or know that we need healed or know how to or have the tools to. And then we break our kids. And then our kids are either like broken or they just don't talk to us. So, and that's where
it's not easy. It's not easy.
And as a spiritual practitioner, I've learned that, I've had to accept that it is what it is. I created that hot messness. And that's fine. And we're going to hold space for that. I really hope though, that like someday she gets to a place where she can go, oh,
yeah.
Oh, she had trauma and then that translated and then that passed down. And if it doesn't, it does like I can't control that. But I find that looking at like what you're talking about, and as practitioners, we have to be aware. We have to do that healing work. And you've seen firsthand, like how far back my healing stuff has gone. And I was going on a trail with that, but yes, I agree with you. There's a lot of empaths. There are a lot of the generations coming in now, like children being born now, like there's a whole level of sensitivity that was programmed out of us. I remember being a very sensitive being. I remember feeling literally everything all the time as a kid, but then it was just kind of shut down because it wasn't acceptable. Yeah. I was too loud. I was too quiet. I was too skinny. I was too short. Like everything. I was too much of something to somebody else. And I feel like it took many, many, many years of deprogramming.
Yes.
And then now here we are. I am a spiritual practitioner and I've learned to recognize that in other people.
Yes. Yes.
And be able to identify with it without making myself spiral.
That's so key. And I hear so many people talk about being an empath, and where I'm going with that is you might be, but you won't really know if you're an empath or you're a highly sensitive person, which is different than being an empath, right?
Yes.
Because A highly sensitive person is reading their immediate environment. An empath actually picks up waves across time. It breaks down physical barriers, right? And so, and there's nothing wrong with either one. There's a big difference between pop psych and actual psychology and the true spiritual meaning of things, right? So that's why I'm highlighting the difference between the two, because oftentimes, very rarely, and I do work with true empaths, but very rarely is that apparent from the get-go, because usually it just seems like someone's hyper vigilant, right?
Yes.
Which looks a lot like being an empath, because you're like you're paying attention to everything. But the difference is, when you're not healed, you think that everything you're noticing is because of you, which is narcissism light. And we don't like to talk about that, right? Because it's not about you. Just because you're picking it up doesn't even mean it has anything to do with you. If you're an empath, it might be just a signal that, oh, that person's injured like you, but you don't know the reason for it. So it's kind of like you've got these readers that show up in your inbox like, oh, I got a message from you. No, you don't have a message from me. And if you did, you would know to not be in my inbox. Because I'm not my spiritual advisors, and we talk regularly.
Correct. Well, and those are all scammers anyway. They're also doubling as the Prince of Egypt. So they're princes in their small countries.
And my lost long uncle, right?
And sugar daddies. They like have all the jobs. They have all the jobs. They're all the people. But I, you know what, as a mentor, I do get a lot of people who come to me and go, well, I'm an empath, so I feel like I'm supposed to do mediumship. I'm like, oh, back up.
Well, and I mentioned that because you know what I'm talking about.
Right? I do.
You do. I do. Until you get that contained, you can't really tell what the gift is, right?
Correct.
You can't. Until you can emotionally regulate, you can't really tell what the gift is. Because
that's the key is the emotional regulation. I'm glad you said that, because I was like, what's the thing? That's the thing. The emotional regulation. Okay, go ahead.
It makes your spiritual connection more clear too, right? Because then you can discern, you can be the observer. When you're emotionally regulated, you can better observe the messages that you receive. Oh, is this? And I see you do it all the time. You're talking about, oh, well, this is what happens when I blah, blah, blah. Like, you're very self-aware. That's key. That's mandatory for this work. Yeah.
But I'm able to, because of the work, I'm able to literally disconnect from it energetically.
Yes.
In spirit, when I'm doing readings, for example, if someone has experienced the same things that I've experienced, spirit will show me my own traumas.
Yes.
To save the privacy, to respect the privacy of the sitter. So I'm not seeing their world, but also I don't need to see their business. I don't need to go rummaging through their closet, but I can get those downloads and those triggers. If I had not worked through those, I have seen on TikTok alone, I have seen medium after medium after medium crash out.
Yes.
Because something triggers them, because they haven't been able to do the work.
Yes.
And just because you can doesn't mean you should.
That's that. If you haven't gone to that depth, you can't take your clients there. You can't read for your people there because you don't know how to manage that energy.
And you will then spiral. And then you are fine all of a sudden canceling all your appointments. You're canceling, you're not able to show up.
Yes.
And I feel like it's the same way, I'm assuming, with therapy. Just if you haven't done your work, which is interesting to me, because I remember my ex-husband, let's talk about that for a hot second. He wanted to go into psychology. He wanted to be a psychologist and counsel people and help people. And I'm like, are you sure that's a good idea? And he was like, yes, I'm going to save the world. Meanwhile, he gets into Psychology 101 at college and completely spirals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And completely. Meanwhile, we're married and have a kid on the way. But okay, you spiral out, buddy. And because he's never done the work.
my laughing is not
Oh, I
the
know.
evil laugh that I meant it to sound like. Let me clarify that. I'm laughing because of red flag 101 in how to identify a narcissist. That's like, tell me more without saying a word. That's what I was giggling about. And it's like, I wish the world knew how to read these mental health issues, or we wouldn't have this egregore of fear based on, all of the dysregulation that's happening culturally too. We'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm talking about, right? And
Yep.
it's like, because people are like, and I hear a lot, people talking about it across the board. That's the one thing that I'm really good at, is having conversations wherein people can disagree. That's what we need to be able to have, right?
Yeah.
Conversations wherein people disagree. But it's like, at some point, I've become and I think we all need to be this, a walking example of the intolerance paradox, or tolerance paradox. I said it wrong. Are you familiar with that? The tolerance paradox?
I am not.
Okay.
But I wish you would.
So it's, think of the no bullying rule in schools. That's the tolerance paradox. It's like, you're tolerant of all diversity up to a point, and then you're not tolerant at all. You're intolerant at that point, because it violates some deep sense of basic humanity. So yes, we're tolerant of diversity until you're not. That's the tolerance paradox. And that's what I am right now. And someone said to me the other day, well, isn't there room for grace? Yep, until there's not.
Until there's not. There's only, okay, exactly. I do say, that is one of the things I say about myself. I am fine,
yes,
until I'm not.
Yes. Yes.
And like, I'll have grace. I'm open to conversation. But when you when you cross that line where my bandwidth is, if I'm like, dude, I'm out.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
Then there's gonna be a bigger. I had one of those yesterday, ironically enough.
Did you?
Yeah. And it was I was in a conversation on behalf of my husband, and this person said something to me that I thought, oh, you've gone there. Oh,
You
have
just
you
know.
met me? I'm like, have you? Oh, you have only met me twice, and I was super nice. That's right. Okay, so we're going to give an ounce of grace here, and we're going to give you a moment to retract that, or maybe pivot. He didn't. He went all in. I was like, bah! Like, to the point where we're on a speakerphone. Mr. Carr, you know how stoic he is. Anyway, he's like, he goes,
oh, he did? Wow.
Like, he was trying, I could tell he wanted to smile. It's like he was proud of me in that moment. And it wasn't even my conversation. I was defending a situation that someone was coming for.
Yes.
And I was like, and I was fine until I wasn't. And it's because you get that person that comes at you and talks down to you and bullies you and thinks that because I'm going to go there for a second. Oh, you're a big, strong man that's got some money. You think you can talk down to me?
Right. Right.
I ride a Harley. I wear a crown. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Which reminds me of, I believe, all women. That's another thing I love to do with women, especially, is activate the Persephone, the goddess Persephone vibe. You know her story, right? She's the queen of abundance and life and blooming and nature on earth, but she's also the queen of hell. So, F with Persephone, right? She's the goddess of life and the queen of hell.
I feel like that's my MO. I can relate to that. I can relate.
But understanding the stories and knowing how to connect it all, with life. And I know we didn't talk much about what you wanted to do, where you wanted to go, but I think just having this conversation is how professionals actually gel and bring it all together, because psychotherapy, psycho in Latin, the root of it is soul. And so psychotherapy is to ground the soul back into your body. That's what it should be, right?
That's what it should be.
Yeah. And so how you pull in spirit, how you ground spirit. Because I believe our body is the antenna. The way our body feels is the antenna for what our soul needs, right? So as a dancer, your primary injuries are probably connected to your primary core wounds. I know that to be the case for me. Like I have left hip issues. The left is feminine, the right is masculine. And the hips are where you carry all of your energy, right? The old stuff, the basement stuff, the rooted stuff. And my main injury is on the feminine side with my mother, and I'm now her primary caregiver. Whoop, there it all is for me. So my left hip is like, bitch, please.
Right. That's funny. I didn't realize you had the left hip issue, because that's where I know I have all my knee issues. I had surgery on my knee, but I kept telling people, I'm like, it's not my knee, it's my hip. And I also know there's something to that. Still working on figuring all that out. But
Yes.
or I'm just 53 still trying to teach hip hop. That could also
discernment too, right? I mean, there are,
right.
but the fact that you're a professional athlete teaching athletes, I mean, yeah, there is wear and tear. I'm not saying ignore that, but
Right. But we can still get that. I'm certified in that, in soul speak, through Dolores Cannon's daughter, Julia. And that is a big thing. Like when your body, by the time you start feeling it, it's because your body, and we were just talking about this with my guest last week, Meredith Willits. She and I do something very similar in our, like what I call multidimensional healing. She's like, I don't know, I just made this thing up and I do it.
It's kind of like Emozen. Like it's the thing. It's just what you do.
Yes. And we talked about that, how by the time it shows up in a physical symptom, yes, it could be something you've done, but also spirit will come in and be like, that's it. She's not listening. Shut it down.
Yes. Yes.
It's that, I always feel like Inside Out, the movie Inside Out, with all the different personalities. Sometimes I feel like my actual spirit team, instead of just my inside thoughts, that's my actual spirit team. Just let me know how it is. Shutting things down.
I love that. I love that analogy. I agree with it. And this is why we also have to connect to other people. We aren't designed to do this alone. All gifts need to be here, right? And that's one thing I wish people understood about aligning and integrating and healing emotions. To find a reputable practitioner, and to do that, you would ask around, right? Find somebody that has had good results with people they've worked with. That's who you need to ask. The actual people that worked with them. I look around and make sure that you're reintegrating like your soul stuff. I like that I wasn't familiar with that. What, soul speak? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was called Soul Speak. It's Julia Cannon, Dolores Cannon,
Yes.
the founder of QHHT. Her daughter carried on, the QHHT legacy, but she also did Soul Speak, because Dolores and her husband were finding that a lot of the current life traumas were actually a result of past life trauma, or parallel life, whatever. Other lifetimes, like that energy crossing over into this body, coming from the higher soul. And so Soul Speak was designed to identify what's the root cause of. So if you suffer from chronic migraines, is that from this lifetime or another lifetime? First, you have to identify where it's starting. And that's where, like the QHHT and BQH process, like the hypnosis, getting to the root cause is how you can't fix it if you don't know where it started. You're just putting Band-Aids on it. Like my knee is still gives me issues even after surgery. And now, granted, it's only been 6 months and I am in menopause and all the things, right? However, when I get downtown, I'm like, I'm feeling good. We're walking across downtown to get to the Gain Bridge. All of a sudden, I'm like, I got to pop my hip. And then my knee will start to hurt. And
there it is. It's not my knee.
It's never been my knee. And in that case, it's actually not even my hip. It's because my hips are out of alignment. And so, like, working with the physical doctor to actually to work on that, but also continuing my energy work to make sure that it's not energetic, like checking in with my guides going, listen, I need you to like talk to me here. Could I be doing something different?
Yes.
Now in my case, they're like, no, but you did, and that's what caused it. And now you're worked through that. But now it's like,
now it's hurt. Yeah. Now
your body can only do so much. Right.
Bingo.
And then,
yes.
And now you have to nurture the body, which I've never been good at.
Because you were a survivor. And that's the thing, flipping from survival to thriving, thriver.
Thrival. I feel like that's another trademark, thrival.
We're in thrival mode here today.
Thrival mode. I love it.
Yeah.
But yes, and I had my brain just was like, what?
Because did you get a hit or something? Did you like?
Because they were talking to me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's room for them too. I will back up.
Oh,
let's hear what they have to say.
Oh no, they were just like, they're like, yeah, maybe now you'll listen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, they were just making a point.
That's why we're friends. I think we have our guides are on the same team because one of mine stands in jeans and a white t-shirt, barefoot, and he's got this, and he stands like this, and he's like, Fafo. Regularly. And I'm like, well, can't you not help? And they're up there like, we've been trying, but you would like naps too much. So Fafo. So they don't play. They're like, listen, you're constantly in Aries self. Get up, do your work, which I do my work. I'm not trying to indicate I'm lazy, but I want to be.
Listen, sometimes the body needs a nap because we old.
Yes.
After a certain age, you're like, a nap is good.
Literally, technically, facts are facts. They're not hostile or friendly. Technically, we are old. Spiritually, we are not. Spiritually, we are timeless.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And our bodies are starting to feel it. And sometimes our bodies are like, listen, you need a good 20-minute nap right now.
I'm sorry I keep laughing I apologize to your audience. I get so tickled when we talk. And it just makes another sign of healing though, right? When you can laugh and joy is just spontaneous. So thank you for that.
Really and honestly, like my people that come and watch me on all the platforms, they know that I don't take myself too seriously when it comes to, like, you have to laugh because it's vibration. Yes. Laughing is vibration. And I even tell people, I'm like, you know what? In your saddest moments, watch husky videos. They're the mouthiest little punks and they're hilarious.
Yeah.
And they're going to make you laugh.
Yes.
Or watch kitty cat videos, whatever brings you joy. Babies laughing. Those are the best.
That's the good one.
Laughing babies.
Yes.
Like when they just like belly laugh and they're living their best joy. And so it's okay. I think it's okay to laugh, even through recognizing your own traumas, even recognizing, because it helps to shed those layers, and it helps break up the energy of the trauma that can come with working through that.
Yes.
And if we can't laugh, what do we have? If we can't find those moments of joy.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have a really miserable life and find joy.
Say it again for those in the back.
It's even if you have a miserable life, it's okay to find joy.
Yes.
And because that's allows it, from a vibrational spiritual practitioner point of view, it raises the vibration. Therefore, you rise above a situation and you can have more clarity.
Bingo.
Situation. So you can see things from a higher perspective because you are literally in a different vibration when you are laughing.
100%. And all of that, the laughter then brings about gratitude, and gratitude allows the neurotransmitters in your brain to balance out, just like you're taking an antidepressant. So it does. A gratitude practice affects the neurotransmitters in your brain similarly to the way an actual psychotropic antidepressant does. Just That's important to know.
You should talk more about that whole science thing. People, my followers, people who are regulars know that I'm all about the mundane before magical. Let's look at the science of things. Let's talk about the science of how this works and how it literally helps us.
Okay.
I'm all in. Meaning
Well,
you actually have a degree in this stuff. I do not.
Well, I'm also a certified one-on-one heart math practitioner, which is basically biofeedback. So
Yes.
what I do with biofeedback is what that means is that the heart and the brain are communicating in a way that you would call it coherence, in a coherent fashion, which is an actual measurable hertz frequency of 0.10 hertz. So I have a little device where I can measure people's biofeedback frequency. And I am a walking example of the fact that it works, because what you do is you stay regulated, keeping that at 0.10 hertz, and you practice with gratitude. And when you shift from we are naturally in a defensive posture as human beings. That means that we're naturally in fight, flight, freeze state. And women, you can add fawn, which is a freeze state, but I don't separate them out. It's fight, flight, freeze, right? And when we're in that state, we're not thinking clearly, because if this is the brain right here, this is the prefrontal cortex. When you're in fight, flight, or freeze, your prefrontal cortex is offline, and you're operating from the mammalian center, which is the amygdala and all of that. And the heart is controlling the brain. You have to have your prefrontal cortex online, so to speak, for you to think objectively and observe. So when you can practice what it feels like to be at 0.10 hertz, you can objectively go, oh, I just got a hit of them not being in a good mood, and I know I didn't do anything. I wonder if they just need a cup of coffee, as opposed to, well, what's that bitch doing in here side-eyeing me again this morning, right? So you actually have that higher self place where you're like, oh my gosh, bless her heart. I can feel her tension. Let me help her out. Let me get her a cup of coffee. Let me ask her what I can do to make her morning better. Or him, but I like women helping women. So that's what I wanted to offer. But so the science of that is you switch from when you're in that fight, flight, or freeze state where you're producing cortisol and a cascade of 1,400 other stress hormones. You switch from cortisol being like the primary one to DHEA, which is the feel-good hormone, oxytocin, the snuggle hormone, and your body actually relaxes. So when you're on the side where it's producing cortisol and all of those, your body gets in a state of inflammation. And when you shift to DHEA and all the good stuff, your body releases and relaxes into it. That's the main science of it.
I love that. I didn't know any of them. I mean, I kind of knew about cortisol and inflammation, but that's fascinating to me. All right. So then let's kind of back up to when you were saying like practice in a state of gratitude. Talk to me about that, because people, what is your idea of gratitude? What do you see gratitude as? What is that? I know it looks different for people.
Okay, hang on just 1 second. Okay. For 60 seconds, I'm going to help you feel it. All right. And then we'll talk about what it is.
Okay.
This will be fun. All right. So and everybody can join along with us. This isn't like any kind of revelatory thing, except I want to help you feel into your body. Let me get this set for 60 seconds. And I'm not very techie, so thanks for your patience. All right. I've got this set for 1 minute. But before we get started, I'm going to guide you through like a readjustment, a realignment, a reconnection for 1 minute. So what'd you say?
Oh, I was asking TikTok if they're ready, if everybody in the chat's ready. We're doing this. Let's do this.
Yeah. So, okay, everyone. So on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, like, oh, it's such a great day. I'm so happy to be here. And 1 is like, well, not really in a good mood. And I'm on 1. You know what I'm saying? So where are you in that scale? And you can say it out loud. You don't have to,
Okay.
Where are you? So what I want to do now is I want you to put your hand on your heart to draw your attention to your heart area. And I want you to take a big, deep inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Start slowing down your breath. Pretend you're inhaling through your heart. Exhale through your mouth. On your next exhale, I want you to allow your eyes to close. Or you can just gaze at a spot in front of you. But I really want you to focus on what you can hear. Maybe you can hear your own heartbeat. Maybe you can hear birds sing. You hear the air conditioner humming. I want you to put yourself in a joyful state of mind. Bring to mind something that really just feels good to you. Smell it, hear it. If you're at the beach, smell the seawater. Listen to the seagulls call to each other. Hear the waves, feel the wind blow. Really be there. Breathe it into your heart. There are people talking, hear them. Okay, that's 1 minute. Now, I want you to take your hand away, kind of shake it out, get the energy away. Gently open your eyes and look around. Name 5 things to yourself to kind of reground you. That regrounding is super important because that can be a heady experience, and usually very spiritual people can dissociate pretty easily, right? So now tell me what your mood state is again. And for some people it works, for some people it doesn't. For those it works, this elucidates what gratitude means, which is why we did that. So what is your number now?
I would say I went from about a 7. I'm at a 10 easily.
So what changed? What changed?
Just the moment of that mindfulness of just tuning into my body.
Yes.
Feeling the breath, my heart, just realizing, oh, wow, look, I'm up. I've got another day. I've got this thing. We're good.
Yeah.
Life is good.
That's it. So I would say for me, gratitude, it's said differently than what you just said, is really appreciating this now moment, what's truly real, being 100% here, right? 100% here. What I was noticing, because I stay enough present to where I can lead it, but I still have my eyes closed and I'm doing the things with people. And as I was doing that, I heard birds sing, and I was like, oh, remember to tell Lorenda, if you hear birds sing, sit with it for a little bit, because even if you're not consciously aware of that, your soul is aware of that, because birds don't sing in an environment that's not safe. So your very vagus nerves respond and activate your parasympathetic nervous system just listening to bird song.
I didn't know that. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. That's wild, because in one of the meditations that my mentor does to get us just grounded and centered and we're opening up, she'll say, like, we're going to open up our crown chakra, let the divine light pour in, and listen to angels sing or the birds chirp.
There you go. Yes.
And I'm like, ooh, that's so pretty. But now I understand. Now I understand there's science with it. I love science, even though I got C's in it. I still love it.
Isn't it amazing, especially when science and spirit combine? It should be science and spirit.
Ooh.
Yes. See?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Science. Well, I mean, I still have my SIP. However, I like that idea. Actually, I'm going to sit with that.
So that movement that you just had of enhancing your mood in 60 seconds is another thing I am good at helping people do. And that's the key of healing. The more you can do that, no matter what situation you're in, the stronger your heart rate. That's what biofeedback measures. It's your heart rate variance, which is the space between your heartbeats, which, as a dancer, it's the space between the notes that makes the music. Just like it's the space between the heartbeats, the space between the events that makes life joyful or stressful.
Right.
Find the gap, the space between. Where's your rhythm? Find it. Stay there.
Right. Oh, I love, see, I learn all kinds of cool things from you. I love it.
Likewise. I feel like changing my title to the FAFO therapist, though, because I'm joking. I'm very kind and loving, but I can say that with you because you know what I'm saying? It's that Hollywood paradox. Everything's great until it's not,
Until it's not. Yeah. FAFO. I'm like, ooh, FAFO. Here we go.
Yeah. And I can say that because I've been accountable to my own BS choices I've made in life. I get it. It's not like I think I have some corner on morality. I've just been there.
Been there, done that, judged myself over it. Yes.
Hard. Yes. Hard. That's the hardest part. It's that self-forgiveness. It's like, wait, what? I can't gaslight myself? What? But aren't I the problem? Back to that narcissism light thing. Aren't I the reason everyone's in pain? No, ma'am. It's not about you all the time.
It's not about you. I have people that will come to me and be like, I'm blocked. I don't know how to step into my energy and my full truth. But then they go down the road of, well, I can't do this because I've got to take care of everybody else and da 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 da. And I'm like, but do you?
Great question.
See, every time you try to solve a problem for somebody else, you're robbing them of a lesson.
Bingo.
My friend Dana said that years ago, and I'm like, ooh, I'm putting that in my back pocket. Okay.
Isn't that powerful? Yeah.
But it amazes me how people don't heal themselves. But you know what? I also see that oftentimes that it's a mechanism of, well, I can't fix myself because I'm too busy helping others.
Oh,
and so then I can away. Yes. Yeah. And also I can just put this in the background and not deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny how spirit has a way, or science, or the body has a way of forcing you to deal with it anyway, eventually.
Yeah. You said at the beginning of this conversation, didn't you, that the body is like, yep, well, shut it down. Your guides are like, just shut it down. She's not listening. Shut it down.
And they do. They do.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely they do. And I joke about that. I had my left shoulder totally replaced 2 years ago. And I'm not saying it has to be that drastic, right? But left side, it's like I carry all the weight. I had just moved in to take care of my elderly mom who has dementia. And my feminine side went out. My right side is as bad as my left one, but this, I feel no pain. That one, the minute it was replaced, I'm like, woo, clarity, seriously, right? Because all that pain wasn't in the way anymore.
Wow.
So just listening to the body is crucial.
Our bodies will tell us what we need to do. They do step in and again, going back to the conversation, by the time it gets to the body, they've been screaming at you all along.
So I just my hands went to one of my favorite decks I've been working with. It's the Archetypes Guidebook. I would have picked your deck, but it's in my bedroom. So I use your deck too.
It's okay.
But I pulled yes, the crone.
Ooh, I'm in my crone phase for sure.
Right. And I love owning that phase too. I love it. I love owning that crone phase. It's a diamond in the rough. It's a crow with a penny, for those that couldn't see it. Held with the left hand, the feminine, right? Holding the darkness with the valuable lucky penny at the bottom, which is the root.
Can I show you something kind of funny? Of course I can, because it's you. Do you know what I have sitting here right next to my left hand that is just here, and I don't know where it came from or why it's here?
Shut up. See?
It was just sitting here right next to my dancing spirit.
As I don't want to say shut up. Speak that. That's what I want. Yeah. Speak that. Yes. That's powerful, right? We are the money. The crone, we are in that money phase. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we are. I'm all about it. When people are like, why is your favorite color green? I'm like, because money's green. And I like money. And actually, I think of green as abundance. So
That,
it's
yes.
not dollars all the time.
I was just getting ready to say that. Yeah, it's you're in the money of creativity. Like my money is coming in as I've got a couple of courses that I'm developing. You know, I submitted articles to 7 different places with 7 different tones to it. And you know, it's like just getting past that fear. I'm not even worried about if they're accepted. It would be nice, but I got past the fear. I submitted. That's what people right? It's like we got to pause and celebrate the little wins that allow things to happen in the first place. You know, whether it gets published at this point or not, great if it does, but I did it. Like I've had people suggest do that. I've been doing this for 20 years. It's taken what's going on in my life at this point, which I went back home to the root of it, right? To find my voice, to be able to speak truth to life, because I no longer need outside validation. That's the point.
Right.
I mean, I do, but I got it. So I no longer need it because I got it in a healthy way, as opposed to an unhealthy, toxic
way.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that is honestly like the ultimate definition of the crone phase, honestly, is that we can look back on that past and go, ooh, that was a fun ride. And look where we are now.
Yes. Yes.
You know, we've got the rubber burning off the tires where we're like, shoo, did you do that?
Like, yes. And it's just that fast. It's like, I don't
rusty under the undercarriage and whatever, but hey, we're still going.
Yes. And that intuition is just as sharp as ever. You know, there's a meme that goes around. It says, look, when can I finally just transform into the beautiful swamp witch that I am?
Right.
But right. It's that Persephone energy again, the queen of abundance and the queen of hell, you know.
As I wear my fire crown.
I love it. I love it. Isn't that great? And I'm really getting into astrology lately too. Boy, that's powerful stuff. Like actual like charts, not what's my sign say today. I mean like the whole shebang, the 12 houses, you know, and like Aries conjunct with Chiron, whatever, like all of that.
So much information. And my brain's like, no, you don't need to know that. I do joke about astrology. I'm like, well, I really only know about me and my birth chart and Leo horoscopes. And like, because Leo's I'm a Leo. We're all, that's all we talk about. Like, really, but how does it affect me?
And my hair. I'm joking. That's every Leo I know has beautiful hair like you do. You know,
it's our main. It's our main.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I find? This is what I find interesting. I've never even thought about this. And that's not true. I thought about this morning. Weird. It was a passing thought. I've had short hair since, gosh, or shorter hair. I've been through phases. I remember when things were really, really bad at my house. Like I cut my hair off. And I remember it was more of a convenience to other people.
That you had short hair?
That I had short hair, because then that way I wouldn't have to mess with it to, take up too much time, take up too much space, too many products, too much money, too much hassle, too much.
Too much.
I have to be correct. Where now I'm like, girl,
do you see me? Yeah.
This is like, that's just where I am now. Cause that's what I like, and my husband, when he's like, well, how long are you going to be? I'm like, I don't know, but you're welcome.
Yes. And my giggles are all in good nature and good fun, just because of the truth of the matter, right? It's like once you figure out the rhythm and everybody's on board, it doesn't even matter if you disagree at that point, because disagreement then prompts you to level up even more. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, I see where you're coming from. And you either walk parallel or you go different directions, and there's no drama. It does.
Either vibe or you don't.
Yes.
Oh man, I tell people, that is something I do tell people a lot. When they're coming to me for readings, and I'm pulling cards for them, or I'm tuning in psychically or even mediumistically. A lot of times they'll, especially in relationship readings or job readings, when you're dealing with other people, is to always move forward on the path that you vibrate with, the one that has the better ending, the one that you can see the eye on the prize.
Yes.
And please do not take the time to go, hey, you coming? Okay, I'll wait for you. No. Either they're going to be with you on that journey on a parallel road, or they're going to go their own way, or they're going to fall behind.
100%. And everything is exactly where it needs to be. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Yes.
But I mean, that's just that, as I get into that, my crone phase, that's where I am personally. Like, I have to move forward. Actually, it was before then. It was back in the day, back when you knew me before. That's when I hit that stride of, you know what? I have to God put me here. The universe put me here in this time with a purpose. And if you no longer serve, if you're not in line with that, I'm going to wish you well over there.
Yeah.
I'm going to wish you well back there. If you want to stay back in that oldness, more power to you. Maybe they've got lessons back there to learn, but I have to move forward. And I always think, well, maybe that's my Leo ego. Like, it's very much my personality. But I'm like, no, because it wasn't always.
Right. Well, it's a new phase of healing. I think that's the alchemy of growth, right?
Mm-hmm. It really is. It really is. And it's just shedding those old layers of going back to what we talked about before, the belief systems we're raised with, the energy that's put on us. Even from a scientific point of view, we come from two people. Okay. Their DNA creates us. There's a transference of that DNA that creates us. That we weren't alive when they were growing up, but boy, did we just get a download of all their stuff. We had to start somewhere. And that's where it starts, right? So we have to spend the first half of our lives deconstructing, relearning, clearing old stuff. And if you never are aware of that, if you're never blessed enough to have that come into your awareness, think about the people that live 99 years and never clear anything.
Right. Yeah. And then you're like, I just got gobsmacked with the depth of with what you just said, right? The years of people not clearing anything, because I just went to, and there's the foundation for intergenerational trauma, ladies and gentlemen.
It really is. It really is. And I see a lot of that between working with the QHHT and going back, because some people will do the QHHT and land in their current life. And I do try to warn people that I'm like, if your trauma is rooted here, if some belief system was forced upon you, if two people that created you came in with their trauma and created you with a combination of the trauma, you had no chance. And so now you have to unwind that. So it might be in this lifetime that you've got clear energy. And we always ask, is it mind, body, or spirit?
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask the higher self. All right, let's identify where it is. Okay, is this necessary anymore? Because this is really annoying. And is this energy trapped in your mind, your body, or your spirit? And until you identify the root cause and where it's trapped, what part of your body it's trapped in, you can't clear it. And you
can't do it by yourself either. Just somebody else to witness it and see it can lift it up. Right.
It really can. And hold space for it, because there is, I believe there's relevance in the energy exchange. And if as a practitioner, am sitting there, I have done my work, and you're on the couch doing the things, I can hold that space as the energy exchange happens.
Yes.
Had that, and also there's value in the verbal conversation, that energy exchange, and bringing that in and doing that work. And then also I've got my guides over here. I'm like, listen, I need you, alchemist, to go talk to their alchemist and figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Hire yourself to hire herself. Go do the thing. This is what she needs, right?
Yes.
Yes. And so, and actually, you know, Lucy here in TikTok, she says she was meant to break generational curses. And by the way, I've seen you on both platforms. I'm not ignoring you. We're just deep in conversation. She's saying, you know, I'm meant to break generational curses, but I'm stuck to clear it at the moment. And I look at that as a lot of us chose to come into this lifetime at that time specifically to do that.
Mm-hmm. And here's how I work. So, like the moment I heard the word stuck, I felt it in my heart chakra and my third chakra right there. Right. And so what I do is I say a little prayer, surround it with love, and blow it out, because it's not mine to heal. It's just mine to acknowledge, witness, feel, tenderly nurture, and move out, because we're all in this together. So right. And knowing what to do with that. It's like giving your spirituality feet. How do you embody that? What do you do with that? You know?
Right. Oh, I like that. Giving your spirituality feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to put that in my back pocket.
Especially if I have a visceral reaction like that, right? Like in my body, I will do that. It's like praying when you see an ambulance go by or something like that, you know?
I do that all the time.
And I just heard an ambulance siren as I said that. Okay.
Spirit be spiriting. I love those little validations. I know. That.
Right.
And sometimes you just have to like take a minute, go, okay, that, and enjoy the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did that too. Once, back in the day when I was Catholic, I would, if we saw an ambulance, like, or something, fire, I'd be like, oh, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Like I would just drop right into, oh my God, I forgot the name of the prayer. Hold on. Holy grace.
I'm not Catholic, so
it's like, oh my, like I'm completely,
Hail
what
Mary,
is it?
It's called the
Hail Mary. Hail Mary. It starts with Hail Mary. It's the Hail Mary.
I was like, didn't you say it? But I'm not Catholic. I'm this Baptist preacher's kid that went to Catholic kindergarten. It was like, hey, I asked my dad what this is, and we don't do that, so I'm not doing that anymore. I was in kindergarten when that happened, and I'm like, man, see, we both. That's something that happens too with people that are curse breakers. You have a really hard childhood. That's your classic wounded healer archetype, right? You have a really hard childhood, and then you do the work, you get clarity, so that when you're in the crone phase, like we are, as you're approaching it, you actually can impart your wisdom. Because if you don't do the work, you just get old. You don't get older and wiser, right?
You just get old.
Yeah.
And your body will reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be the aches and the pains, whether it be the mental decline, whether it be the physical aging, like the actual, you know, wrinkles, whatever.
Yes.
I fully believe that, and people, and I think this is kind of common knowledge. Like there are people that will say like that. Oh, my son. Oh, I'm like, that boy's going to be the one to age me. I was not wrong.
I was not wrong. Right.
You know, and I mean, he's still like the sweetest kid. Love him. But man, I
pull it out of you by the roots, right?
And you know what? I'm convinced he was sent here because of everything that we went through to force me to deal with my own past in a way that I never thought I needed to. I thought I'd already done all the talking and all the working, and I really had. I'd done everything that I was told I could do. Who knew?
You didn't realize it had lodged into your bone marrow and you had to pull it out from there, right? Yeah.
Right.
Here's something interesting about that, and why intergenerational trauma is important. And in some of the meditations I do, I have clients like actually call forth the ancestors that are paying it forward and then give them back their pain, because it's no longer yours to carry and they didn't do the work. And I'm saying that because the way it shows up in my room, an actual factual sessions, I had a man years ago who's Dutch. Now he was Dutch American, and he had graduated from Purdue, so he was. I'm so sorry, I'm having that brain fart. An not archaeologist. He paid attention to farming around everywhere, like North and South America.
Horticulture and
thank you. Agriculture. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
I was like, it's like right up the street. We're from the same place.
Started with an A, but he was an agriculturalist, and he would, assess the land, see what needed to happen to make the soil more fertile, so that they would have better crop turnout. And every once in a while, he would start to panic when he would fly. And we got down to it. So that was the presenting issue, right? The panic when he would fly. We started doing meditation and stuff. And then we went back generations. And his grandmother came up. She was pregnant with his mother during the Dutch famine. And his fear was about lack. Like there wasn't going to be enough of him to go around if the plane crashed, right? So we went back, we healed that fear of lack. It was a generational thing so technically, here's another science thing, because a woman is born with all of the ovaries she's ever going to have, right?
All at once.
When she was pregnant, when his grandmother was pregnant with his mother, he was also within his grandmother. Did you track that?
Fuck, I never even thought of that.
Yes. So grandmother,
that's a whole new layer. Like I'm trying to let that sink in.
Yes, it's heavy. So I know, and I wanted to make sure I said it correctly. So we were part of our grandmothers because our mother's fetus had all of the all of the eggs she would ever have when she was in utero. So we were in our grandmother. Therefore, our grandmother's emotional state, remember I was talking about the cortisol versus DHEA production? Mm-hmm. That's how it gets inherited. And I'm not saying it's always the mother's fault. I'm just saying we are portals. That's why the patriarchy wants to shut us down. We are portals. We create life. We nurture. We bring it back to life. And we can't do it without men. But we haven't figured out how to all get along yet.
Right. Wow.
That's heavy, deep stuff, isn't it?
I never even thought of that part of the science. And I love bringing the science in. And that's mind blowing to think about.
Yeah.
Because now it really, really tracks, because looking at even my maternal grandmother, what she went through in her growing up and as a teenager, and the abuse that she suffered from her dad. And now, I mean, it just, wow.
Yeah, it gets in the DNA, and we are attracted to what is familiar. And what is familiar is usually pathological unless we've done the work, right? So it might not seem so at the beginning. I mean, I've gone all the way back to looking at my DNA and how my dad's DNA and mom's DNA combined, right? And so I've got Viking DNA on my dad's side, and mom is from ancient Mesopotamia, like Iran, Iraq area. It's a line of healers. It's the oldest feminine, haplogroup that there is, H3F. That's according to my research. I could be wrong. I'm just talking about the research I have so far. And it's like, wow, okay, so we've got the healers and nurturers and the warriors, right? And that's what I am astrologically. I'm a 5-time Aries stellium and a 4-time Pisces stellium right next to each other in the 3rd and 4th house, which gives me a boldness of voice. I mean, I'm Aries through and through. And then I have a yod as well, which is called the finger of God. It's led by Aries. So it's like, that means I was born with a mission.
Right. And I feel like many of us, as knowing that the transition from moving from, the Piscean age into the age of Aquarius, many of us came here understanding that. And that's where we are. Like, think about all the way, even just TikTok. Let's just look at TikTok or any of the social medias where women, you just see them speaking their mind.
Isn't it beautiful?
And they're
My
like,
sister.
or even a TikTok shop, they're like, look at my bra. I'm like, oh, where I remember growing up, you couldn't even allow your bra strap to show because
I keep being mindful of that and I'm failing. But yes, you're right. I'm mindful of it now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm not even doing them anymore. We're done. It's partially true.
Great.
But you couldn't allow those things to be seen because then you're inviting trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You earn the bad things that happen.
Because don't hold anybody accountable for being aggressive. Make it about the women.
No,
again, it's our fault again. Yeah,
it's my fault because my bra showed. Right. So, but I see the patterns of those of us that are moving into this beautiful age of our 50s, releasing all of that, living in the gratitude, living in the present, planning for the future, but not obsessing about the future, being okay with what comes.
Yes.
And living in the flow of it. And I'm finding that more and more people that I believe came here from spirit going, all right, high five, I'll see you on the other side.
Right.
We are the beginning phase of the generational breaking. And it's going to be our job as Gen X and younger to continue to clear out and heal the DNA as we are moving into this new Aquarian age. Yes. I'm super curious, even just looking at our lifetimes, how, if you look at how our lives were in the 70s, okay, even in the 80s, think about how different everything is now.
Yes, so different.
Everything, and how quickly things are progressing. I feel like in 5 minutes, I'm like, everything needs an update. Everything needs a reboot. Like I missed the trend, whatever.
It is fast. You're correct. Wow.
Really, very quickly, because it needs to. There's just so much. And if we're looking at it from the therapeutic point of view, the trauma healing, the mind, body, spirit healing, there's just a lot happening and being released right now. And I'm here for it. I'm super curious because I plan on living for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I'm super curious if I'm 53 right now and I'm looking at from my conscious memories of things I can really comprehend, I'd say probably like 40 years of truly starting to understand the world around me. Think about what it's going to look like in 40 years.
I know, right?
When I'm 93.
Well, and what you notice too, when you get this alignment thing down. And by the way, and what I'm doing as we're talking is employing certain skills that I teach people too, right? And so I just pulled the card shapeshifter as we're talking about what we're coming into with the crone, right? So, and you can see the eye down there opening up, and I'm finding meditations that actually activate. And I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is it pineal gland? But it just stroboscopic light with candle meditations and things. That's an aside. But in any event, getting to the point where we can go, oh, here it is, and have real-time healing in the moment. That's why I'm mentioning that, right? It's like, so learn this stuff, but actually put it to use. Again, give your spirituality feet. Like, do it. How do you do it during the day? Sweep off your front porch, pour salt in front of it, not because it's the witchy thing to do, but because praying over salt activates its power. Right? It helps set up boundaries. I put salt under my bed. I put salt behind my therapy couches in the room, but it's prayed over and cleansed.
Yeah. I have my friend Shelly gave me a bowl of Himalayan salt, and she's like, put this under your bed. When I was going through some stuff, and you know what? It's still there. Like it still stays by it's not under my bed because my dog, but It's now like in my nightstand right next to. So I know that now, and I do believe that intention is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that with water and
Yes,
set that intention.
absolutely.
You can do it with salt. You can do it with anything, like any physical thing that can hold energy and hold vibration. Putting the angel out front in the front of your house.
It's all intention, right? Some people call it prayer, some people call it intention, some people call it spells. That's what it is. I mean, do any of your viewers have any what do they do? I like that giving spirituality feet part.
Yeah, what do you guys think? So those of you who are, practice or that do some of these things, what are some of the things that you guys do? Are you able to see the comments that people have been saying all along?
No.
You can click on comments.
No, I don't. Am I supposed to be able to?
I thought so. I haven't pulled up. I don't know how.
Oh.
We've had talkers this whole
time. So it starts with reading, Lorenda. I need to read. I had it over here on private chat going, where are all these comments? Oh, my word. Okay, so I need to read. I love calling myself out.
Yeah, people have been involved, like people have been like just dropping their comments and their 2 cents. So what do you guys do? Okay, so Sophia in TikTok says, I have water mixed with some salt in a few corners of the house. Okay. And this is what I tell people all the time. It's not about the actual substance or the thing that you're using. It's again, the intention, which is vibration, whatever it is, intention, prayer, like you call it, like whatever. So what else do you guys do? Somebody says, I use feng shui to figure out where to place them. Oh, that was a good idea.
I like that. Yes.
Anna says salt and a lemon in corners of the house. Well, if I've got salt and lemon, there's probably tequila involved.
Cinnamon on the first. I just heard about that the other day. You put cinnamon in your hand and blow it. Right? Yeah. That's good. That's like the first time I heard that. So that's affirmation for me. Right? Does it matter crystals? Sorry.
That's right. So many crystals and scriptures. So I use those pray Palo Santos, Holywood, and light a candle with it. So I love Palo Santo. You had given me my very first Palo Santo stick.
Did I?
Yeah, I'd never used it before, and I love it. I love the smell of it.
Okay.
Lavender, Himalayan salt in a foot bath, and daily shower gel has Epsom salt. Okay, love it. What else we got going on? Yeah, people talk about crystals too, and I think that's a big thing. Like again, we set the intention in those, but also if a crystal comes from a specific area.
Yes.
Where there's things that does hold the vibration. Have you seen my dragon egg?
No, I need to see. No, I haven't. Please let me. Shut the front door. Look at that gorgeous thing.
I got this when I was in Minnesota.
Oh my goodness.
It's just, and I found this when I was having like big dragon guide energy coming in.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, I don't know if I believe blah, blah, blah. I need another sign. Then I looked down. I was talking to my friend who was with me when I got this. And this little guy was on the ground in the parking lot.
Wow.
And it's the same. Wow. It's got the same crystallized. It's very shiny and sparkly. This one's harder to see the sparkle. But yes. And I was like, okay, game on. I got it. Noted. And this little guy, by the way, because I have 2 dragons with me. I've got a small dragon and an older dragon. This actually fits right here.
Is that the one you found on the ground?
One I found.
Wow. Isn't that perfect?
It just cradles right in there.
Wow. Okay. That's perfect.
So we got all the energy from that. But I felt that when I walked into that store. I don't get drawn to crystals, by the way. I might be like, oh, that's pretty. That would look nice with my others. This was like, my friend looked at me. She goes, you're going home with that, aren't you? I'm like,
she could just tell that was the thing.
Yeah. She knew. Let's see. Amy says, I use Palo Santo to clear energy. I also have jars of holy water and blowing to absorb any negative energy. Done the cinnamon on the first and love the crystals. Yeah.
Yep.
Pamela M says, I have hearts placed inconspicuously through the house. Ooh, that's smart.
That is good.
I'm getting behind on TikTok. Hold on. Let's see if we get, I love it when people like get engaged in the conversation.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Let's see. Lucy says, I have gumballs in my home too. It's Native American protection.
Oh, wow. Say more about gumballs. Like
yeah, like I don't know, that's what it says. And wind chimes. Oh yeah, wind chime. I'd like to point out that I was just minding my own business the other day. My wind chimes got destroyed in a storm. I'm sitting on the porch and all of a sudden I'm hearing wind chimes. None to be found anywhere. I'm sure it was someplace across the pond the sound was carrying, but I'm like, okay. Smoky
there.
I know it was my friend Greg in
Okay.
spirit was coming in to say
hi. Okay.
Michelle says smoky quartz, a piece north, south, west, and east at the base of my home, outside in the yard.
Love that.
Let's see. I went to the store in Arkansas with stones and crystal, and you could feel the vibration. Interesting. Florida water. Yeah, I've heard that too. I have Florida water. Okay, so the gumballs are off the actual tree. So not that, it's a gumball tree.
Oh, okay.
Before. Okay. Or a gum tree, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that further because I was confused and I love that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. And yeah, Amy says they're spiky balls from a sweet gum tree.
Ah, those. Okay.
And cedar trees. Okay. Interesting. See, I love that everybody's got all these different things going on, and it's whatever. There's no right or wrong. For me, I got my cool dragon egg. When I do these interviews, I love to wear my crown. I don't walk around my house with a crown on, although I mean, I guess I could, but I really don't. It's a thing. But I always feel more grounded and more in tune when I'm doing my show with my crowns. Oh, okay. No need to get all huffy over here. It's like my little dragon wanted to be seen.
That's like my energy. I was going to say the little one, that's very Aries energy. That's what happens. Like when people read for me, like this has happened to you before, the cards just fly out of your hands. Like that little dragon just did. And that's what I do too. Like I have to, that's my very much my energy. So sorry. It's like I have these little Aries sparks that go, let me pull it back in.
Yep. I love it. Now let's see. So any other ideas on what do you guys do to set your intentions? Any other little rituals or any other things that you have in your house that you pray over? Any other fun things? The ring stone last night, she had a ring on in class. I wear as my mom's, but found out it's in the mountains where Noah's Ark landed.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. Whoa.
I love these stories because that's people actually living, like walking their talk. And that's what healing is about. You know, you're creating your life each day. And when we stop manifesting each day, and I'm not talking about necessarily like the pop psych, match the energy. I'm talking about truly praying it to life, manifesting it to life, the scientific background of that and how you pray things to life. We got to do it every day, right? Just like we take a breath, we have to breathe every day. And it's so necessary. It's an autonomic response. But in order to deepen our life experience, if we're mindful of our breath and we breathe properly, as opposed to shallowly, we can actually embody things. So the breath is key too.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that even just paying attention when we start meditation, before we connect for mediumship in my class, the very first thing we do is just settle into our body and listen and pay attention, be mindful of the rise and fall of our chest.
Yes.
Just tuning into your body. I believe that's just like bringing everything into here, into this area, and it just pulls us in. And then by doing that, we're able to turn off the distractions. We're able to just to hear what our body's doing, feel what our body's doing, being aware of, and then we can connect better.
Yeah.
You know, just in spiritual practice, that's such a big thing. Imagine what you can do in like regular everyday life.
The analogy that just came to me, Lorenda, is attunement is like driving in a downpour with working windshield wipers. Lack of attunement is driving in a downpour with no windshield wipers. You can kind of see what's going on, but there's no clarity, and you're probably going to wreck, right?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's like you know you're going in the right direction, but you can't see it clearly. And that's where we trip up. Nobody teaches us to read our feelings. We're taught the minute we can talk, we're like, oh, use your words. Well, you can't use your words if you can't describe your feelings, right? So we miss an entire section of development, emotional, spiritual development, by not describing our feelings. Because once we can ask for what we need, then things get to be a little bit more clear, right? Because like you were talking about earlier, you got to either be right next to me when I look around for you, or I'm moving on, not because you're hateful or you don't want a relationship, just that you've got some things you have to do, right? You're just going. So that's what happens. It's like, oh, if the energy doesn't match, let the low hanging fruit drop, because I got to go higher, right? And it will just naturally drop. It will just naturally drop. And we get hung up on, oh, but we got to bring it with me. No. It dropped because it's time. It's ripe, right? Which another aha moment, to be ripened means to not be evil, because evil simply means incomplete. That, like, the root of evil is incomplete. So if you let it completely ripen and be aligned, it's not evil anymore.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning all kinds of things. I'm going to walk away from this smarter.
Well, I'm just thinking of, I'm getting those, I feel like a little ball in a pinball machine, like, doo, doo, doo. Oh, and this, and this, and this. That's how it happens when we talk. It's like, oh, remember that. But you're a walking example of alignment. And I think the people that you bring into your world are that too. Everybody does it in their own way. So,
well, and I think I've learned how to hold. I think what makes me a good teacher is I've learned how to hold space and meet people where they are, because I needed that.
Yes.
I needed that without judgment. And I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to do, like, I got my own going on over here. But like, learning just to hold that space as a spiritual practitioner is so important, whether it's for your clients, whether it's or even out in the wild, just like in the real muggle world, right?
Yes.
Loving to hold space for people and allow them just to be themselves. And what I find, and you know this as a therapist, what I find is people don't need advice. They just need a space to talk it through themselves. And you don't have to hold on to that energy. You don't have to save them from that energy. You don't have to take that energy on. You can, feel better. But what you've done is you've allowed them to displace something into your space so they have the bandwidth to work with it.
Bingo.
Then you good? Here. Okay. It's like that. Like, hold my beer.
Yes.
Right. I'll be like, cool, you can hold it. You do what you got to do. Right on. You good? Here you go. Here's your beer back.
Yes. Without even, and when you're in flow, it's almost like you don't even have to ask. It's just there.
Right.
And for some reason, this is the third time it's popped up, so I'm going to put it out there. I did that QHHT hypnosis, the regression with you.
Yeah, and you were back in my early days.
Yes. And I never got to a point where I saw death. I just kept changing. It was like a spiritual entry each time. And that keeps popping up for me right now as we're talking about all of this. And the Aries energy again, there it is. So this would be what I call Emozen in action. right?
Yeah.
Everything is there all at once. It's like, that's what we talked about. Why'd you take your crown off? I noticed you took your crown off. Did it hurt your head?
It was like, hit me in a weird place. And
Yeah.
I've learned to like acknowledge that. And now I have an indentation in my head. Yeah.
I was just curious. I was like, because that crown chakra just went.
I know what it means. I know what it means. It means I need to put this one on instead. Hold on.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. I love that.
This is my Outlander crown.
So that one you just took off was what? And this is what?
I call that one my big Leo energy crown.
Okay.
My fire sign. And then this one, because it's got like all the filigree in there with the sun.
Okay. Yeah, that's big fire.
Oh yeah. She custom makes them for me when I'm like, and this is my Caradwin crone phase.
Okay. I might need to get, who does it? Who's the person?
Her name is Kat, and she's on. She changed her name. Oh, okay, friends of you guys. What was her name again? Or what's her new screen name? Dame X something. All my people that were in classes with me last night, I totally told them what it was. Dame X Madam or something like that. I forget now. But she changed her name. I can text you. But this is my other stunning favorite.
Oh, that is stunning. Wow, that's queendom right there.
Oh yeah. I had my last photo branding, my last branding shoot was with this crown.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So anyway, we were talking about like holding space and doing all those things. Totally lost track of what Dame X made.
That's an example of holding space. Is it going to bubble back up? There's right. And how can you sit with discomfort? That's another part for being a practitioner, a reader, a therapist, a coach, right? Can you sit with, is it your discomfort or is it their discomfort? Like I notice some practitioners try to make someone feel better. Well, yeah, we do want to help people feel better, but that's not our role. They'll feel better when they process their emotion and they feel safe enough to release it and let it go. Your role is to be safe and to be able to discern, is it your discomfort you're addressing or theirs? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's hard for people to see. Oh, it's my discomfort that I can't tolerate.
Right. Well, that's a whole other deep dive of realization. You're like, whoop, okay.
Listen, I'm good at opening up a can of worms. Would I be a good therapist if I wasn't?
No, I could just be like, okay, so now here's a thought. Now hear me out. What if I could, yeah, that's you. That's you. You're like, okay, so I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
Just hear me out I have a passing thought. I could be wrong, but what if you look at it from this perspective? And then it's
yeah.
Just a thought.
What if? Yeah.
I'll be over here while that, settles in and lands on you.
That's true Heyoka energy too, right? And Heyoka, Heyyoka, it means sacred clown. I think in Cherokee, it's in one of the Diné languages. But it means sacred clown. And those were like the ultimate shaman in indigenous tribes. And they would help you heal backwards. Like you would go in grief and they'd make you laugh, right? They do things that are the opposite. It's like opposite day with them every day.
Opposite day.
I just had to mention that because that's what you were talking about, right? That's what you were just talking about. Like, oh, look at it from this perspective. And that's usually, I noticed that with people that come to therapy, people that are in therapy are usually in therapy because the people you've said, hey, could you just be a little bit nicer to me? Are like, nope, suck it up, buttercup. I'm going to keep being not nice. And I could use a plethora of other words, but it's like literally people are in therapy to tolerate people that are intentionally mean. I just shortened it. So I know it's not that short and simple, but that's what's happening. Think about it.
That's a chat GPT summary right there.
Yes. Why are you in therapy? Because I asked my parents to stop being asshats and they refused and told me I was disrespectful. So I need to go to therapy because I'm the problem because I asked someone to be nice to me. Right?
It's so true.
Because the people that are considering to be the problem, once you confront them with it, they're like, therapy is stupid. I'm not going back. Oh, why? Because you have to be accountable? Pretty much. Right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. My husband in the early days, again, you remember those days of well, I'm not the problem, she is. I will give you credit. He still respects you to this day. You were not easy on him.
No, I just was accountable. Accountability is important.
Exactly. And that I was just getting ready to say that. You were like, okay, but let's talk that accountability. And I think that's so important. And even in spiritual work, I believe that certain people in certain vibrations will be drawn to me because I have been down that road. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients that I've never met before, the total strangers, like to me, and they're like, and I'll start getting a download. I'm like, oh, this person lived my life. So let's talk about, I bet you and your husband went to therapy and then he said you were the problem and da 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 da. And they're like, oh my God, how'd you know? I'm like, just getting some replays. But but then I can offer that hope of, but there's also accountability here on both parts. Yeah. And also all you can do is move forward. And if they're not coming along for the ride, then you're still moving forward.
Yes.
So, but I find that there are certain people that have gone through this journey that will align with me. And I'm not afraid also when I'm like, well, I don't understand why can't I get this done? Why are my finances so bad? Why am I always sick? Why can't I keep a job? Why can't I keep relationships? I'm like, well, as Dr. Phil would say, there's only one common denominator.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so
that's a slap in the face, isn't it?
And yeah, I mean, it's been there, done that, been there, realized those things myself. So, yeah, it is. It's accountability and realizing our place in the world energetically and the physical space, the spiritual space. It's not just about knowing what your future is. It's not just about knowing like what you're supposed to be doing or how do you get rich. It's not about that. It's how do you understand how you're supposed to exist right now? And that's my spiritual take.
Yes, it's sacred storytelling. It's sacred command of your how you see the world, you know.
And that is so true. And I think that goes back to then, if you have such a really blurred view of the world, if you can't see the forest for the trees, then take that 1 minute of checking in like we did all together.
Yes.
Feel the heartbeat, breathe, get centered with your body, and then ask to see things from a higher perspective. I would throw that layer in as a practitioner. I'll tell people as you're doing this, be the owl that flies above, the wise owl that flies above the trees and can see the bigger picture and that owl's not emotionally connected to you. It's just seeing.
Right.
See through its eyes.
Because what fell out to me is the card, the one. You are the one you've been waiting for, right? There it is. Here's all the information coming in. There's the clarity of it, that third eye, that pineal gland.
Yep. And while other people in your life, while other circumstances can create a lot of hardships, the only thing you can control, literally, is your belief system, your gratitude, your energetic flow. And the day that I chose to walk on my own path, and if anybody was going to come with me, great. If they're in alignment with me, great. I had to be okay with walking that path alone.
Right.
That was the day my life changed.
Right.
That was a huge day. And another Another analogy that, not analogy, it was like this vision that I had. This was when, again, this was way back when you were there. You were there because you were like, whoa, that's pretty profound. And I remember you saying that, me and going, it is? I guess it is. Again, 20 years ago, right? So this to me, this was the analogy where I'm like, I had this vision where I felt like I was just drowning. I was in mud up to here. And that I was doing everything I could to raise my vibration because I was just starting to understand vibration and understand that if I'm going to be happy, it's a choice. Everyone else could be miserable around me, but I have to choose to be happy because I'm the thermostat. So I have to choose this. So I remember thinking, having this visualization of me coming up out of the mud, out of the quicksand, whatever it is that I was covered in, the muck that I was covered in. And as the mud dried, I could just like, oh, mud dries. And then you can dust it off because then it becomes dust. Yes. And look underneath, I've got this shiny suit.
Yes.
So no matter where we are in life, no matter what blocks we've had, we can choose a higher vibration. We might have to work through getting out of the muck. It might be a little hard. It might be some really thick muck. But I remember actually giving that analogy, and Matt was mad at me for 2 weeks. He'd be like, you called me muck. I'm like, well, if the shoe fits, buddy.
Like, he missed that whole point. It was the whole process. He got stuck in the muck.
He did. But he gets it now. I mean, I give him credit now, but like back then, because he was in his own muck.
Yes. And you can't see when you're in the muck.
Correct. And I was like, right. If that's what you believe, then you believe that.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, it wasn't about you.
Right.
Narcissistic, right? That might be more of narcissistic medium. I don't know. But I remember thinking, and this, I know now, I look back now and I understand that was spirit truly showing me something that I didn't understand. And I remember just like going,
you can just wipe it off. Yeah.
And change this. And also the cool thing is mud really can act as an exfoliant. So even my skin, my body, I have a chance to regenerate and be completely new. Yes. I don't have to live in the muck that's up to here where I can't breathe. And that was such a revolutionary time for me. And it took a long time to integrate. I will say that.
It does.
It did not come easy. The mud did not dry instantly. But man, I look at myself now and I'm like, you know what? I do glow compared to what I did, what I looked like then, mind, body, and spirit. I was so negative and so angry all the time and cried all the time and was miserable. But I had to make that choice to come up out of it and let it go and be okay with just brushing it off.
The beautiful thing is, once you realize what's happening, you just let it happen, because you're talking about growth, and you just beautifully described that quote of no mud, no lotus. Like that lotus flower can only bloom from mud.
True. So true. So true. So my friend Lucy says, so if that keeps you completely alone, that's normal.
It depends on why you're alone, right? I mean, this goes back to discernment. If you're staying alone because you can't regulate your triggers, then I think there's practice that needs to be had, right? But if you're staying alone because it enables you to be more present when you are out, then you have to do that too. Did that make sense?
Did that make sense, Lucy?
I can't see her comments. I see some comments.
Well, she's on TikTok right now.
Okay.
So hopefully that made sense. Oh, my cleaning person just got here.
I heard that. Yeah. So sometimes being alone is okay. And I think a lot of women, especially, ideally, we need to learn to be alone, because we are raised to say, I got to take care of this and this and this. And there's that falsehood of, oh, I'm not worth anything if I'm not taking care of someone. And I certainly can't take care of myself first. Right. But we have to, right? Going back to what you said at the very beginning, if we keep ignoring it, the body The spirit guides will go, just shut her down. She's not listening. Just shut her down. Make her listen.
Right.
And it'll happen. And I believe the more spiritual you are, the harder is the shutdown, because they're like, we're not kidding.
We're right. We're not kidding. We're not joking. You're doing this.
Yes.
So so Lucy said, well, of course I got a freaking phone call. Now I can't hear anything. So now she's back.
Okay.
So basically what we're saying is, yes. I mean, do you mind repeating that your answer to that about
it's the okay alone part?
The triggers?
Well, I was saying, it depends on why you're alone. If you isolate because you can't regulate yourself around a lot of triggers, which happens. I mean, if your trauma is active, that can happen. I'm not saying this with any judgment. I'm saying it with self-awareness, right? If you're staying home because frankly, people are too irritating to be around, which is understandable a lot of times. But you might want to regulate that and decide, am I doing this because I'm not doing my work, or am I actually at home so I can recharge? So when I'm out in public, I can be more of a positive influence, right?
Right.
So it's really about discernment. Are you able to observe yourself and regulate yourself, or are you constantly depleted? Those are like, what's your quality of life, I think is the question I would ask myself.
Right. She says, I'm fine in other states away from others that attack me. Yep. So what I found when I finally found my sea legs, when I finally, after all the years, finally decided I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a crucial moment, by the way. I don't think women honor that enough. They may like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. I'm really done.
That was a huge mind, body, spirit shift.
Yes.
I can't explain it. I just one day woke up and I was like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay if I spend the rest of my life by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is not sustainable. And I'm out of bandwidth. And so the conversation at the time
of the family, the emotional thermostat, right?
Yes. And of course, at the time, my children were treating me the same as what my husband was treating me, which was, doormat. I was pretty much the doormat. And I was just like, it's either I make this choice now or I leave this planet. Like, that's where I was. And I was in therapy. I was doing all the things. I was taking all the steps, doing all the things. But I remember very specifically just going, I no longer hated anyone. I no longer was angry. I was just like, it is what it is. And if he doesn't like me, if people don't like me, then that's a them problem.
Yes.
Instead of, why am I changing? Because now my soul is breaking. My soul is crumbling because I'm not being who I am. I need to be. I'm not giving it away. I knew that I needed to do this work.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I needed to do this work. And I finally did look at my husband and I was like, I want you to be happy. You clearly don't like me. You clearly don't like what I'm doing. Go find somebody else that does make you happy. I'm going to go on this trip. I'm going to go on this path by myself. It had to be by myself. I wasn't trying to find someone else. I needed to be alone because you know what? It occurred to me in that time, I'd never in my entire life lived alone or been alone or even gone on a journey alone.
That's the alone I'm talking about. That aloneness. Yeah.
And yes. And that was a huge pivotal moment in my life. And again, I had a very good, remember Mary Jo? You recommended.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's who I had her, and she was great at holding space and letting me just like, bounce off the walls. But the day that I realized that was the day my energy changed, my trajectory changed. And yes, my husband and I are still married because at that time he was like, wait, what? He never believed that I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that did. And that forced him to do the work. And now all the psychics that predicted that I'd be married to somebody different were right.
Because you are.
I am.
Yes.
I'm very, very different.
And it's
the
interesting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's just the fact, and I saw that evolution yesterday when he saw me flipping the out about this person that was coming for me as well as him. And I could see that little,
yeah,
that moment of pride that maybe externally no one else would see.
Yes. And you've dedicated yourself so deeply to knowing each other and being present for each other in a way that is sustainable and life-giving, right? That relationship has opened up its secrets to you. So those are the things that you get. It's like learn your craft so well so that it reveals its secrets to you. And that's when you're like, yeah, I got this.
Ooh, that gave me cold chills.
Right? Doesn't it?
So, ooh, I like it. I truly believe that, when you do that work, going back to what we were talking about, started the whole way back in the conversation about generational trauma, understanding where all it comes from, understanding why you are where you are, not necessarily your purpose.
Right.
How did you get here?
Yes.
And this is where a good therapist, and I love what you do because you don't just do traditional therapy. You do soul coaching. You encompass the person, mind, body, spirit, and hold space for them in that way. And you did that before it was a thing that you were doing, though. And
yeah, thank you.
Because I've known you for as many years as I have. And I will say that, you were a huge, huge part of my healing journey, and I will forever be grateful. And I'm so glad that all these years later, ethically, we can be friends.
Yes. There is an ethics thing there. It's 2 years, right? And you've got to put informed consent out there because therapy is one of those professions. It's not like your dentist, your doctor, your lawyer. You can't just go, oh, hey, I'll meet you at the golf course, right? Because it's literally like you're doing the most tender surgery possible without anesthesia. So that person needs to really understand sacred space and confidentiality and not manipulating power, right? So that's where the ethical requirement comes in of it's ideally 2 years, right? Unless you talk about it and there. But it was all of that. It played out like that for us. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And now I feel like we're friends, but also I feel like we're parallel colleagues.
I agree. I totally agree with
that. Because I refer people to you. You refer. Yeah, I feel like we're in that same wheelhouse. I love it. Well, I have truly enjoyed having you on today. Can you believe it's been 2 hours?
No, and we didn't even have anything planned. That's what's great. I mean, we had this planned. We had the container planned, but we had nothing planned.
Yeah. We didn't. I never do. I never do. I mean, that's not true. I always ask ChatGPT just in case, but we didn't get to any of those questions. So people want to know, well, are you taking new clients right now?
I am. I also am my mother's primary caregiver. She's 89. She'll be 90 in September. And she has dementia. So I see clients Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And I am taking new clients right now.
Okay. And how can people find you?
So you could go to my website, emozen.life, Life, or I can put my number in the chat. You can text me.
I would say do the number. I would just do the website.
The website, okay.
But unless your number is just a separate, do you have a separate phone number?
No.
Because this is going to be on the YouTubes, and I get a lot of haters on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Yeah, it's emozen.life. Sorry, I was trying to log in to put that down. Can you type it, Lorenda? I'm getting all kinds of, okay. EMOZEN.LIFE.
Life. www.emozen.life.
Yes. Oh, it just worked for me too.
There we go.
That's it. You got it. Yep.
We got it on the Facebook and the YouTubes.
Thank you.
All right. And then, so Lucy said she's going to be reaching out to you.
Okay. I'll look forward to talking with you. On Instagram, it's Emozen Flow. Emozen_flow.
Okay. So IG is Emozen. I need to get my nails done. They're too long. Wait, Emozen_, is that right?
Flow. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I'll look forward to helping however I can. And thanks it's great talking with you. I love the synergy and the exchange and everything. Thank you so much.
For sure. Hey, Lucy, just message me. I'm not very good at being able to comment on my own stuff here, and I don't have any mods in here right now. Hi, Fleur. Good to see you. But message me, and I'll put it in our student chat. Cool. That way we can all have it. All right. Well, thank you, Krista, for coming and being part of my little show here.
I appreciate it. I try to be a participant as often as I can, but I forget. But now that Thursdays are off, I can do it more. I can join you more.
I love that. Oh, good, Jimmy. He was all stealth in here watching. We had quite a few people watching, and my Aunt Della just popped in too. my mom's sister just popped in. So thank you all so much. I'm gonna end the TikTok live, but I'm gonna have, as I end these, I'm gonna have you hang out for a minute, Krista.
Okay.
And then all right. Hi. Bye. So thank you all. My name is Lorenda. That was Krista Anderson, Emozen Flow on Instagram, and Emozen.life website if you are interested in any of her services. All right. Thank you all so much. And we're going to end it over here too. Oh, I have a cool outro. You ready for this?
Yes.
So cool. I need to change my music, but it's so
cool.
I'm getting there. Here we go.